Admiral Elena Santos stood at the observation deck of the EFS Hyperion, Earth's most advanced deep space monitoring station, watching the holographic display of an anomaly that had appeared just beyond the Kuiper Belt. The signal defied every known law of physics, yet there it was, pulsing with a rhythm that seemed almost alive. "Admiral," Lieutenant Commander Jack Chen's voice broke through her contemplation. "The quantum analysis is complete. You're going to want to see this." The year was 2157, and humanity had spread throughout the solar system, united under the Earth Federation after the resource wars of the 2090s. They had achieved what many thought impossible: true cooperation across all former nation-states. Yet they remained alone in the vast darkness of space, or so they had thought. In the station's main laboratory, holographic data streams filled the air. Dr. Sarah O'Neill, the station's lead xenolinguist, manipulated the streams with practiced gestures, her dark eyes reflecting the dancing lights. "It's not just a signal, Admiral. It's a key." The data patterns shifted, forming complex geometric shapes that somehow felt familiar. The signal contains embedded quantum signatures that match theoretical models of pre-space civilizations, Dr. O'Neill explained. "But here's the truly extraordinary part. It's responding to our observations. It's aware we're studying it." Admiral Santos felt a chill run down her spine. In 20 years of space service, she'd never encountered anything like this. "Are you saying it's sentient?" "More than that," Jack interjected, pulling up another set of data streams. "The signal is teaching us. Each time we analyze it, it reveals new layers of information, but only after we've understood the previous ones. It's like a cosmic training program." The Admiral's comlink chimed. "Santos here." "Admiral." General Zhang's voice carried the weight of authority that came with being Earth Federation's Supreme Commander. "The Security Council has reviewed the preliminary data. They're concerned. Some are calling for immediate military preparation." Elena looked at the pulsing signal display. "With all due respect, General, I don't think that's the right approach. This isn't a threat. It's an invitation." "An invitation to what, Admiral?" Before she could answer, the signal changed. The geometric patterns coalesced into a clear message, displayed in perfect English. "Humanity stands at a crossroads. The path you choose will determine not just your fate, but the fate of all who have come before and all who will follow. We are the guardians, and we have waited eons for those worthy of our legacy. Will you listen?" The laboratory fell silent. Dr. O'Neill's hands froze mid-gesture, and Jack Chen stepped back from his console, eyes wide. Admiral Santos felt the weight of the moment pressing down on her shoulders. This wasn't just first contact. This was a test. "General," she said, her voice steady despite the gravity of the situation, "I recommend we establish a response team. Not military, at least not primarily. We need our best minds on this. Linguists, physicists, philosophers, historians. Whatever these guardians are, they're giving us a chance to prove ourselves." There was a long pause on the other end. "The Council won't like it. They'll want a show of strength." Then remind them that true strength isn't always found in the barrel of a gun. Elena's eyes remained fixed on the message. "We've spent centuries preparing for this moment, General. Let's not waste it by falling back on our old fears." The signal pulsed again, and new information began streaming across the displays. Star charts, mathematical formulae, and what appeared to be historical records started unfolding before their eyes. Each piece of data seemed carefully selected, as if the Guardians were laying out a path for humanity to follow. "Look at this," Dr. O'Neill breathed, manipulating a particular data stream. "They're showing us the fate of other civilizations. Some advanced far beyond us technologically, but," she paused, her expression growing grave, "they all seem to disappear at a certain point in their development." "Not disappear," Jack corrected, pulling up another stream of data. "They destroyed themselves. Every single one of them reached a technological threshold, and then nothing." Complete civilization collapse. Admiral Santos felt her throat tighten. And now they're warning us we're approaching that same threshold. The message shifted again. Your weapons can crack planets. Your computers approach consciousness. Your ships prepare to reach beyond your cradle. But your wisdom, does it match your power? We offer a choice. Learn from those who came before, or join them in oblivion. Elena touched her comlink. General, are you seeing this? The whole council is watching, Admiral. We need your recommendation. How do we proceed? She took a deep breath, knowing her next words could determine the future of human civilization. We accept their offer, but we do it our way, with caution and curiosity in equal measure. Humanity has always learned best by doing, so let's show these guardians what makes us different from those who came before. The signal pulsed one final time, and a set of coordinates appeared in the data stream. They pointed to a location just beyond Neptune's orbit, previously empty space that now somehow felt heavy with possibility. Well, Admiral Santos said, straightening her uniform, it seems we have our invitation. The question is, are we ready for what we'll find there? Dr. O'Neill smiled slightly. Ready or not, Admiral, I don't think we have a choice. History is watching. As the coordinates hung in the air before them, Elena Santos realized that humanity's greatest test was about to begin. They would need all their ingenuity, courage, and wisdom to face what waited for them in the darkness of space. But maybe, just maybe, that's exactly what the Guardians were counting on. The EFSS Prometheus cut through the void of space, its quantum drives humming with barely contained power. Captain Maya Rodriguez watched as Neptune's blue form slowly shrank behind them, while ahead lay their destination, the coordinates provided by the Guardian signal. Her ship led a small fleet of 3 vessels, chosen specifically for their blend of scientific capability and defensive systems. Multiple quantum fluctuations detected at the target coordinates, reported Lieutenant Wei from his sensor station. Energy signatures unlike anything in our database. Maya nodded, keeping her expression neutral despite the tension coiling in her stomach. The past week had been a blur of preparation and debate. While Admiral Santos had convinced the Security Council to pursue a diplomatic approach, they hadn't sent the fleet unprepared. Each ship carried enough firepower to level a small continent, a fact that made Maya both confident and uneasy. Dr. O'Neill, any changes in the signal pattern? She asked, turning to where the xenolinguist had set up her temporary workstation on the bridge. Sarah O'Neill looked up from her displays, her dark hair now streaked with silver from stress. The signal's becoming more complex. It's as if, she paused, adjusting some parameters, as if it's building up to something. The bridge crew worked in focused silence, each person acutely aware of their role in this historic moment. Humanity's first official contact with an alien intelligence, or at least their technology, would happen under their watch. Energy spike. Wei called out suddenly. Something's forming directly ahead. The space before them began to ripple like heat waves over desert sand. Colors that had no right existing in the vacuum of space danced and swirled, coalescing into a massive structure that seemed to defy physics itself. It was roughly cylindrical, but with geometric patterns flowing across its surface that hurt the eyes if watched too long. Full stop, Maya ordered, her voice steady. Defensive systems on standby only. Let's not give our new friends any reason to worry. As the fleet held position, a new message appeared across all their screens. The worthy faced their trials with open minds and ready hearts. Enter, children of Earth, and face your reflection. Before anyone could respond, a beam of light shot out from the structure, scanning each ship in turn. Maya felt a slight tingling sensation as it passed through the Prometheus, as if every atom of her body was being gently examined. Captain, Dr. O'Neill called out, her voice tight with excitement. I'm detecting massive data transfers through the scan. They're not just looking at us, they're teaching us something through the scan itself. Maya was about to respond when a hologram materialized on the bridge, a figure that seemed to shift between different forms of life, never settling on one appearance. "I am an interface," it announced in a voice that somehow managed to be both mechanical and organic. "I speak for the Guardians, though they themselves passed beyond physical form eons ago." The captain stood from her chair, approaching the hologram with measured steps. "I am Captain Maya Rodriguez of the Earth Federation, ship Prometheus. We come seeking knowledge and understanding." "Do you?" the interface asked, its form shifting to something vaguely humanoid. "Your ships carry weapons that could destroy this facility. Your quantum drives are adapted from warship designs. Even your scientific instruments are built on military frameworks. We carry weapons because we understand that knowledge must sometimes be defended," Maya replied carefully. "But we choose when to use them, and we choose not to do so now." The interface's form rippled. An interesting response. Neither denial nor aggression. "Perhaps there is hope." It gestured, and new holographic displays appeared around the bridge, showing what appeared to be historical records. "Before you enter the archive, you must understand its purpose. The Guardians were not the first to achieve enlightenment, nor were they the last. They were simply the ones who chose to preserve knowledge rather than power." The displays showed civilizations rising and falling across the galaxy, some achieving technological marvels beyond human comprehension, others destroying themselves in spectacular fashion. Each species that reached for the stars faced the same choice: wisdom or warfare. Most chose poorly. Dr. O'Neill stepped forward, her scientific curiosity overriding protocol. "These records, they're not just history, are they? They're warnings. Lessons." Indeed, the interface confirmed. The archive contains the accumulated knowledge of 1,000 dead civilizations, technologies that could elevate humanity to godhood or reduce you to atoms. The choice of what to learn and how to use it will be yours. Captain Rodriguez felt the weight of this moment pressing down on her shoulders. "You said we must face our reflection. What exactly does that mean?" The interface's form stabilized into a mirror image of Maya herself. "To enter the archive, you must first prove you can face the truth about yourselves. Your species' greatest strength is not your technology or your weapons, but your capacity for change. Show us this capacity, and the knowledge of ages will be yours." Suddenly, alarms blared across all three ships. Multiple ships dropping out of hyperspace. Wade reported, his fingers flying across his console. It's the Earth Federation Defense Fleet." Maya's blood ran cold. On her private command channel, Admiral Santos's voice came through, tight with urgency. "Captain, the Security Council was divided. The military hardliners launched a preventative action without authorization. You have to convince the interface we're not all like this." The massive form of the EFS dreadnought Invincible materialized at the edge of their sensor range, followed by its battle group. Their weapons were hot, their intentions clear. The interface observed this development with what seemed like sad resignation. "And so the trial begins sooner than expected. Show us, Captain Rodriguez, how humanity faces its reflection when that reflection shows them at their worst." Maya looked between the approaching warships and the ancient archive, knowing her next decisions could determine the fate of her entire species. The real test, it seemed, wasn't about facing alien wisdom. It was about facing human nature itself. Captain Maya Rodriguez watched as the EFS Invincible and its battle group moved into attack formation. The massive dreadnought's weapon ports were open, its intent clear. On her bridge, the interface's holographic form observed the situation with an unsettling calm. "Captain Rodriguez," Admiral Chen's voice crackled through the command channel from the Invincible, "you are ordered to withdraw from the alien structure. This is a matter of Earth Federation security now." Maya exchanged glances with Dr. O'Neill, whose expression mirrored her own concern. The xenolinguist gave a subtle nod. They had come too far to back down now. "Admiral," Maya responded, keeping her voice steady. "With respect, we're in the middle of first contact protocols. Any aggressive action now could doom humanity's chances at accessing the archive's knowledge. Knowledge? Chen scoffed. That thing is the greatest military threat Earth has ever faced. Stand down, Captain. That's an order. The interface spoke then, its voice carrying an ancient weight. Your ships gather like storm clouds, yet you fear a library. Tell me, children of Earth, why does knowledge frighten you more than weapons? Before anyone could respond, the archive facility pulsed with energy. Holographic displays materialized across both fleets, showing scenes from humanity's history. Wars, peace treaties, scientific discoveries, artistic achievements, all playing simultaneously. Your species fascinates us, the interface continued. In a single moment, you can create both poetry and weapons of mass destruction. You reach for the stars while clinging to your fears. The trial is not about choosing between these aspects of yourselves. It is about understanding them. Suddenly, every weapon system across both fleets went dark. The archive's energy field had expanded, rendering their military technology inert. However, life support, communications, and scientific equipment remained functional. What have you done? Admiral Chen demanded. Created a space for wisdom. The interface replied simply. Now you must talk. Show us how humanity resolves its conflicts when violence is not an option. Maya saw her opportunity. Admiral, Dr. O'Neill has been studying the archive's transmissions. The knowledge it offers could revolutionize our understanding of the universe. But more importantly, it could help us avoid the fate of countless civilizations that destroyed themselves. On the holographic displays, new images appeared, civilizations rising to technological greatness, then vanishing in flashes of self-inflicted apocalypse. Each of these species faced the same choice you face now, the interface explained. Many had divided leadership, just as you do. What made the difference was not their weapons or their technology, but their wisdom in using them. Dr. O'Neill stepped forward. The signal patterns we've been studying, they're not just data, are they? They're a test of pattern recognition, of our ability to learn from others' mistakes. Indeed, the interface's form shifted to mirror Sarah's appearance. The archive does not judge based on technological advancement, but on the capacity for understanding. Your species shows remarkable potential in this regard. Admiral Chen's voice had lost some of its edge. You're saying you disarmed our ships not as a hostile action, but as part of the test. The true test, the interface corrected, is what you do now that you cannot rely on force. Will you listen? Will you learn? Or will you prove that humanity, like so many before, can only think in terms of weapons and threats? Maya took a deep breath. Admiral, permission to share our preliminary findings from the archive's transmissions. I think you need to see what we've discovered. There was a long pause before Chen responded. Proceed, Captain. Over the next hour, Maya and Dr. O'Neill presented their analysis. The archive had begun teaching them even before they arrived, embedding complex scientific and philosophical concepts within its signal. The knowledge ranged from advanced physics to the history of countless civilizations, some that had survived their own trials, many that hadn't. The archive isn't just a library, Maya explained. It's a survival guide for technological civilizations. The Guardians didn't create it to threaten us. They created it to save us from ourselves. The interface nodded approvingly. You begin to understand. But understanding is only the first step. The true test lies in what you do with this knowledge. Admiral Chen's image appeared on the main screen, his expression thoughtful. Captain Rodriguez, Dr. O'Neill, you've given us much to consider. But answer me this. If we accept this gift of knowledge, what guarantees do we have that it won't be used against Earth? The same guarantee that keeps you from using your own knowledge against Earth. The interface responded. Wisdom. The archive cannot be weaponized because it teaches understanding before it teaches application. You must learn why before you can learn how. A new message flashed across all screens. Phase 1 of the trial is complete. Humanity has demonstrated the capacity for dialogue in the face of fear. But the greater challenge lies ahead. Will you face it together or divided? Maya felt a shiver run down her spine. They had passed the first test, but somehow she knew the real trial was just beginning. The choice between wisdom and warfare had been a false dichotomy. The true challenge was learning how to balance both. Inside the archive facility, Captain Maya Rodriguez walked through corridors that seemed to shift and change with each step. The interface had granted access to a small delegation from both fleets, scientists and military leaders working together under its watchful eye. Dr. O'Neill walked beside her, while Admiral Chen followed with a mix of wonder and wariness on his face. "What you are about to see," the interface announced, its form now resembling a being of pure light, "has not been viewed by organic eyes in 50,000 years. This is the heart of the archive." The corridor opened into a vast chamber that defied physics. Stars seemed to dance between the walls, and streams of pure data flowed like rivers of light. At the center stood a crystalline structure that pulsed with inner radiance. The combined knowledge of 1,000 civilizations, Dr. O'Neill breathed. "It's beautiful. And dangerous," the interface added. "Knowledge without wisdom is like a weapon without aim. Watch." The chamber transformed around them. They stood in the midst of a dying civilization, beings of crystalline structure fighting a war with weapons that torn reality itself. Another shift, and they witnessed a species of energy beings ascending to a higher plane, leaving behind messages of warning and hope. Scene after scene played out, each showing a different path taken by ancient species. Some chose to transcend physical form, the interface explained. Others sought to conquer death itself. Many tried to reshape the galaxy to their will. All faced the same fundamental choice: to use their knowledge for growth or destruction. Admiral Chen stepped forward. "You keep testing us, showing us these visions. Why? What makes humanity different from all these ancient species?" The interface's form shifted to something almost human. "Because you ask that question. Because even now, with your weapons disabled and your military advantage removed, you seek to understand rather than dominate." Suddenly, alarms blared throughout the facility. The interface's form flickered. "Warning. Quantum instability detected in human vessel invincible." Maya's blood ran cold. "The experimental drive core. Admiral, didn't you say it was using untested modifications?" Chen's face paled. "The new quantum compression system. We pushed it too hard getting here." He activated his comm. "Invincible. Status report. Drive core is approaching critical, sir." The response came through filled with static. "Containment fields are failing. If it goes, it will create a quantum cascade." The interface finished. The resulting reaction could tear apart the fabric of space-time in this entire sector. Dr. O'Neill's fingers flew across her portable console. "The archive. There must be something in here about handling quantum drive failures." "There is," the interface confirmed. "But the knowledge you need requires understanding principles your science has not yet discovered. To save your people, you must first prove you can handle such advanced concepts responsibly." Maya stepped forward. "Then test us now. We don't have time for philosophical debates." The interface's form solidified. "Very well. The final trial begins now. Dr. O'Neill, you will receive the quantum mechanics data. Captain Rodriguez, you will coordinate the evacuation. Admiral Chen, you must trust them both despite your military instincts screaming for control. Each of you must play your part perfectly." The chamber erupted with streams of data, flowing directly into their neural interfaces. Maya felt knowledge pouring into her mind. Emergency protocols from a dozen dead civilizations, evacuation procedures that had saved millions. Dr. O'Neill gasped as advanced quantum physics filled her consciousness. "The drive isn't failing. It's evolving. The compression system is trying to achieve a higher quantum state." "Correct," the interface said. "Now you must guide it through the process rather than fighting it. But be warned, One miscalculation will result in catastrophic failure. Admiral Chen wrestled with his military training. You're saying we should let an unstable quantum drive continue its evolution. The risk is necessary, the interface cut in. This is the moment that defines species ready for the archive's knowledge. Will you trust science over force? Will you evolve or destroy? Maya made her decision. Admiral, begin evacuating all non-essential personnel from the Invincible. Dr. O'Neill, you have command of the quantum drive situation. I'll coordinate between all ships to maintain stability. The next 30 minutes were a blur of activity. Under Dr. O'Neill's guidance, the Invincible's engineers worked to reshape their containment fields, allowing the drive core to evolve rather than trying to suppress it. Maya orchestrated a complex dance of ships, keeping them at safe distances while maintaining communication links. Admiral Chen, against every military instinct, let them work without interference. The interface observed it all, its form shifting between various ancient species that had faced similar trials. You demonstrate something unique, it noted. The ability to blend military discipline with scientific innovation, all guided by wisdom earned through cooperation. The Invincible's drive core pulsed with increasingly exotic energy. Quantum state shift in progress, Dr. O'Neill reported, her voice tense with concentration. The patterns, they're beautiful. It's not just evolving. It's teaching us something. The legacy of the stars, the interface said softly. Each civilization that survived left behind more than knowledge. They left hope. Hope that others would learn from their journey. As the quantum drive stabilized in its new form, the chamber around them changed one final time. The streams of data coalesced into a single message. The trial is complete. Humanity has demonstrated the capacity to face crisis with wisdom, to choose understanding over fear. The archive accepts you as students. Maya looked at Admiral Chen, who nodded slowly. Perhaps, he said, this is what we've been preparing for all along. Not to fight the unknown, but to learn from it. The interface's form settled into a perfect blend of all Earth's cultures. The real journey begins now. The archive's knowledge is yours to explore, but remember, with great wisdom comes great responsibility. How will humanity use this gift? Dr. O'Neill smiled, still processing the quantum physics knowledge she'd received. One step at a time, with respect for the legacy we've been given. Around them, the heart of the archive pulsed with ancient power, ready to share its secrets with its newest students. The trial was over, but humanity's greatest adventure was just beginning.